Alright, welcome back. Wait a minute, this is not gonna work. Nope, this is not gonna work. Alright, this is much better. Here we can, comfortably talk about this Punch EV. I did not want to sit in a studio and talk about this car. Here out in the open is much better. Now, the title of this video is 1000 kilometers with the Punch EV. I've almost driven 1000 kilometers. It's like 930 or 940 kilometers. So almost 1000 kilometers, and I got this car about 3 weeks ago. So I think this is the right time to share my experience with you, what I have noticed with this car. This is still not a full review, but things that I have noticed with the Punch EV. I'm going to keep it very simple. This video will be divided into 3 major parts: the good, the not so good, and the bad. See, the first good thing with this car is the driving experience. This is an electric car, so that instant torque is available, and the feeling of that instant torque is something else. Way better as compared to a normal petrol or diesel car. Like whenever you press the accelerator, it has a punch, pun intended. So that is something that I really appreciate, and Tata has done a good job in terms of the suspension as well. So the entire ride is very smooth, even in Indian roads condition. So considering the condition of our roads, the driving experience is amazing. Now there is one thing that I would like to mention, that is the steering wheel. The steering wheel is great, it feels comfortable, but it takes some time to get used to it. It's a bit different as compared to normal petrol and diesel cars in terms of the stiffness. It feels a bit stiff. Not too much though, it does feel comfortable, but a bit stiff. Also, these paddle shifters which are used to change the level of regeneration come in between of these, blinkers and the wiper controls. So that is a bit annoying. Now, what else is good with this car? Well, all the flashy features. 360-degree camera, super useful while taking turns and also while parking the car. Ventilated seats. They're not the most powerful ventilated seats, but they're definitely effective and useful. I use the ventilation in the seats almost every day, and it's a super useful feature to have. Also, wireless Android Auto and CarPlay work surprisingly well. I've not had any major issues with that whatsoever. Whenever I get into the car, it is already connected and works seamlessly. And the entire cabin is very premium. It doesn't feel cheap at all. This is the top end, and Tata has done a good job in terms of giving that premium feel. The seats are very comfortable. It feels like a high-tech car, and the AC is amazing as well. So all these little things add to that premium feeling. Now, what about the range? Does it come into the good category, not so good category, or the bad category? Well, before I answer that question, here is a quick range test. Alright, let's do a quick range test of the Punch EV. You can see that the battery is at 100%. On the bottom left corner, 100% battery, and I've also reset trip A. It is at 0 kilometers. I'm currently driving in city mode with L1 level of regeneration. So yeah, these are the specifications, and let's do a quick range test. So the plan today is very simple. We have to go 45 kilometers one way to pick up a very important document. We'll go there, pick up that document and come back, and in between we are going to make some quick pit stops, maybe for a coffee, for lunch and something like that. Now if I check the range right now, the range is showing as 261 kilometers. I'll just show it to you guys as well. It is showing as 261 kilometers, which is very less, but I think it's gonna give more range. Let's see how it goes, because whenever I use this car, I found that the range number that is shown, it keeps changing. It is not that reliable. So yeah, let's hope that I get good range. Alright, the one-way trip is complete. 46.6 kilometers, 83% battery left. Still driving on city with L1. So yeah, this is the update for one side. Just stopped for lunch, so the second trip has been completed and we've covered 81.9 kilometers. Let me quickly show you the battery percentage. So here we go, 81.9 kilometers and 72% battery is still left. So far so good. The range that is showing right now is 195 kilometers. And one thing that I want to show you is that if I increase, the regeneration level, if I go to L2, the range will increase to 200. If I go to L3, it will go to 203. And if I go to economy mode, drive mode activated, it will go to 210. So it keeps on changing depending upon the mode that you drive in, but as I said, I like to drive in city with L1 level of regeneration. I think that is the right balance between power and efficiency, at least for my style of driving. Trip has been done for now, 71% battery and a total kilometer count of 83.0. Someone please do the math and calculate how much range would I get for 100% battery. So where does the range belong? It definitely belongs into the good category. category. Range is not bad with the Tata Punch EV. Now Tata claims that you will get 400 kilometers of range, but in real life you get somewhere between 280 to 300 kilometers of range, and I've got that on a constant basis. I mostly drove this car in the city. I just took it to one short trip, which was like 100 kilometers one side, and it easily completed the trip without me needing to charge this vehicle. So the range is actually good for city driving and short trips, no issues in that whatsoever. But with that being said, if you want to plan a long trip, maybe like 200 kilometers one side or 300 kilometers one side or even more, then you have to plan for charging stops, and you need to make sure that there are charging stations which are working. On Google Maps you will see that there are a lot of charging stations, but make sure to call them and ask them if the stations are working or not, because that is very important. One more thing that falls under the good category is the boot space. Now this is a pretty compact car, it's not a huge car, but still the boot space is enough for 2 large bags or 3 small bags. But there is one thing inside this boot that is missing, which falls into the bad category, which we'll get to in just a bit. What about audio quality? Basically the speakers inside the car. I am happy to say that the speakers are absolutely amazing. First up, they are customizable. Basically you can customize the sound, and they sound incredible. I have not noticed any issues with the speaker whatsoever. In fact, the speakers are very loud and they do not distort. That is the main thing, that they do not distort. Tata has done a good job with the speakers with the Punch EV. The first not so good part about this car is this mode dial. So using this mode dial or gear dial, we can change the different driving modes of this car, that is parking, neutral, reverse and drive. Functionality wise it is great. It also has a display over here so you can see which mode the car is in, but it's not intuitive because we are used to sticks. If we have a stick, we don't even have to look down. That is very intuitive, and that's how we have been driving cars. So from that to a dial is a very big shift and takes a lot of time to get used to. I hope you get my point. Now, while we're on the subject of not so good things, I would like to mention the legroom at the back. This car is comfortable for 4 people. If there are 5 people, it will be a bit uncomfortable, and if there are 5 big people, like 5 huge people structurally, then that is going to be super uncomfortable. So if you consider buying the Punch EV, make sure that you note that this is a 4 people car if you want to get that comfort. For 5 people, a bit uncomfortable. And I also feel that Tata should have given an AC vent on the back. There is no AC vent on the back. I get that this is a small car and the front AC will easily reach here, but an AC vent on the back or a Type-C port here would have been highly appreciated. Now, the next not so good thing is the software. See, I think Tata over-promised with the software. There are so many features inside this car, like the software is jam-packed with features, and Tata could not deliver on that promise. Like, it is very good, it is smooth and stable for like 90% of the part, but for the remaining 10%, it is not stable and there are noticeable bugs. And I've reset the software in the past 3 weeks like 3 to 4 times. So that is not a good experience. I would honestly love to see Tata push out regular software updates and improve the software experience, but that only time will tell. And I also feel that the apps that come along with this car are not very well organized. There are a couple of apps. One app is to control this car. I've not used that app yet because it is not set up yet. The dealer has to set up that app. I've been behind the dealer, but they're busy because of Diwali season. Maybe they'll do that next week, so I will mention about that in my full review. And there is one more app for charging. So I feel that if everything was in one place like Ather does a very good job with their app, that would be a more efficient solution, and that too in a stable way. Alright, we get to the bad things about the Punch EV. And first point here is charging. See, I did not opt for the fast charger. There were 2 options when I bought this car, a normal charger and a fast charger. The fast charger was about 30 or 40,000 rupees extra. So I was like, let's save that money because I don't need fast charging. And I think that was a huge mistake on my part. Because with the normal charger, it takes about 11 to 12 hours to charge this car completely, which is extremely slow charging. I thought that it would take 8 to 9 hours, but nope, it takes 11 to 12 hours. Also, when I took that short trip, I tried to charge this car with the normal charger and it took 2 hours to charge from 60% to 70%. So that is very slow charging. I feel that anyone who is buying this car should invest in a fast charger, because say you are out somewhere, you quickly want to charge this car and there's no public charging available, you can use your own fast charger maybe for an hour or so and charge this vehicle. So I honestly feel that if you're going to buy this car or any other electric vehicle, make sure to invest in a fast charger that is a fast home charger. And one more bad thing is no spare tire in this car. You do not get a spare tire. You can install a third-party spare tire, and if you take a lot of trips, that is highly recommended. Tata gives this with the car. This is called a tire puncture kit. I have not used it as of yet, but I think this is not a good solution for not giving a tire. They should have, found some way to put a tire in here, but that is a huge cost saving by Tata, which I do not appreciate at all. See, all things considered, the Tata Punch EV is a very fun car to use. Now, I know that I've not covered everything in this video because this is not a full review. These are just the things that I noticed while driving this car for 3 weeks, like almost 1000 kilometers. And I thought that this was an important video to make so that I can keep you guys updated and take you along the journey of, using this car, experiencing this car. Now, one major aspect that is remaining is servicing. The servicing of this car has not come up yet because that is where the most complaints are with Tata especially. Now, my wife has been driving a Nexon for like 3 years and her experience with Tata in terms of servicing has been smooth. So I'm hoping that my experience will be similar because I bought the car from the same dealer. I think servicing heavily depends on the dealer as well. But this is an electric car. The problems of an electric car are different as compared to a normal petrol or diesel car. So let's see how that thing goes. I will make a dedicated video about servicing in the near future. But for now, I would like to conclude that the experience of owning and driving this car has been nothing short of amazing. The features are really good. It's a comfortable drive and the overall experience has just been amazing. I think that for city driving, this car makes a lot of sense. So if you were looking for a similar experience for city driving, then you can definitely go ahead and buy the Punch EV. It's a superb experience. Now, if you have any more questions about this car, please do not hesitate to ask them in the comment section down below because I would love to answer them. If you like this content, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel because that would mean the world to me. My name is Harsh Punjabi and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.